Okay, in this video, what I'm going to do is I am going to show you how to do some basics with your Blackboard portfolio. In order to do that, the first thing that we're going to do is you're going to log into Blackboard just like always, and then you're going to click on your Math 206 course. And actually you can see these links across the top before you get into there, but it's just easier if you go in to your course as it is. Now, you can take a look at my portfolio that I gave you information about inside the course assignments button by scrolling down to the bottom. Once you click your final course portfolio, and you can actually view my portfolio by clicking on portfolio link. Okay, but in order to create your own, you're going to click on e-content collection. Once you click on e-content collection, down the left hand side you'll see my portfolios, and then we're going to click on my portfolios underneath it, and we're going to create a new portfolio. So to do that, we're going to create a personal portfolio. So we'll click on it, and then you see this little blue toolbar at the top. This is what we're going to go through. We're going to go through properties, then we're going to set the style, and then we're going to actually build the portfolio, which is where all your information is going to come. We're not interested in settings until we finish. Okay, so I'm in properties, and I am going to create a new portfolio, and I'm going to give it a title, and I'm going to call it Jamie Foster's Portfolio. Okay, I'm not going to give a description. I don't have to. It's for me anyway, and so I'm going to click Save and Continue. Now, this Save and Continue button is the most important button in your portfolio. When you make any changes, if you see a Save and Continue button, sometimes there's just a Submit. If there's just a Submit button, you submit it. But if there is a Save and Continue button, be sure to do that, because notice what happens when you click Save and Continue. On this top toolbar, you're going to see green, and it's going to say Saving. Okay, see, there it is, and it's saving, and then it's moving on to the next tab. All right, the next tab is the style. Now, you can create a portfolio with buttons down the left, like what we have in Blackboard, and that's typically what I do because it's nicer and neater. You could also create one that looks like this with the buttons exactly the same, but on the right-hand side for Layout 2. Layout 3 makes your header footer go all the way across the top and bottom, and Layout 4 puts all your buttons at the top, which looks really messy. So I would leave it at Layout 1. Now, you can also change your background color, which I'm going to do. I'm going to make my background today, let's see, I'm going to make it whatever color this happens to be. It's a pale dull blue, and I'm going to click Apply. Okay, now that's pale, so black text is black font is probably good. If you were going to look at doing a dark background color, you can change the font of the way everything's presented here, and your white font, notice, is over here in the middle, and all you have to do is scroll over these, and it tells you the color. Okay. But I'm going to leave it at black, so I'm going to click Cancel. But you would, if you wanted to do white, do it. Now, I don't bother the page title font. I don't bother the heading font. Leave those alone. Now, you can make text or you can make buttons. I like text. I think it's neater, but it's up to you all, whatever you want to do, because it is your portfolio. Now, this is in progress. So I'm going to click Save and Continue. Now I'm going to get the green saving button, and now I'm at the build page. Alright, so here's what we want to think about. When I look at the portfolio that I shared with you all, okay, which was in here, Okay, this is what your build page looks like. All right, you're going to have up to the left here with these black, in the black area, these are my pages that I've created. So whatever the title is on each of these are the titles whenever I click build pages. So I'm going to do an intro. The intro is what you get when you come in. This is all the intro, everything that's here under my picture. Now, this is the course, and this is about Math 206 and your future teaching. It tells you in each of these, in that portfolio link that I provided, exactly what to do. Then when we get to geometry, this outlines what you need to do in this for each of your pieces. So you're going to need a geometry, a measurement, a probability, a statistics, and then a final course project. So this is what's in geometry. Now, in this section, you need to include the geometry content related to the grade level you want to teach. So if you want to be a first grade teacher, you go to the resource links in the course, find the content, put the geometry in here, which is what I did. I have 8th grade content, and I have, here's my example. No, I don't. Here's my example. It says, the geometry skills and concepts related to 8th grade in the Kentucky Common Core are, and there they are. Then the next piece is what I've learned in this class. So what have I learned in this class related to geometry? All right. So then I'm going to do the same thing with measurement, and I didn't put anything else. This is just a real brief. This is what your section is about. Okay? And each of these will be exactly the same. Okay? I need 10, you get 10 points for your Kentucky content related to whatever the topic is. 10 points for the 10 things that you identify that are related to that topic that you have learned or researched or whatever. And then you get 10 points for the 3 web resources that are related to this topic. And remember, they can be virtual manipulatives, it could be an article, lesson plan, whatever, but it's got to be at least 2 different types of things. So you can't use 3 virtual manipulatives. You could use, say, 2 virtual manipulatives in an article. Okay? But anyway, that's what your portfolio looks like. Now, I'm going to click back on here. I created my portfolio, Jamie Foster's portfolio. Now, if I click on the words, it takes me to the portfolio, and see there's nothing there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click back, and I want to do the little drop down arrow here, and I'm going to click edit. Okay, now it takes me back here, and I need to build. So I'm going to click on build the portfolio, and it gets me back here, and I'm going to create pages. So I need a page for all those buttons down the left hand side. So I need an intro, and I'm not going to do I better do an intro. Okay. And then I'm going to scroll and click submit. And hang on just a second and let me pop. Okay. So I created the page for intro. Now I'm going to create another one. I'm going to create a page for geometry. Okay, and click submit. I'm going to create another page for probability. Okay. Now, and I'm going to create another page for statistics. All right. Now, I'm going to put them in the order that I want. Let's see, I forgot measurement. Let's create a page for measurement. Okay, and click submit. Now, notice these are my pages that I have, and they're not in the order I want them. So, I need geometry, then I want measurement, then I want probability and statistics. Now, I've got all this done. Now, I need to save it and continue. Okay, so now we're saving. Now, I'm going to click on it again so you can see what it looks like. So I click my portfolios, Jamie Foster's portfolio, and now I have intro, geometry, measurement, probability, statistics. And the more I look at that purple, the less I like it. So you know what? I'm going to go back and I am going to change it. Now remember, that was the style. That was that first piece. I think it was style. Yes, let's make that something other than that purple. That is very, very tiring to look at. Okay. No, that's a light dull blue. Let's go over here and see what... I don't really like any of these now. This is sad but true. Okay, I'm going to do this, pale weak yellow, and let's see how that is. Save and continue. Now, notice there's a preview button up here so I can take a look at it. There it is. This is what the preview looks like on that pale. Now, notice too that over here I have this dark piece. Okay, so let's go back to the style. And let's see what our dark piece looks like. And that would be the menu font. And it shows it's a dark, obscure azure. So I'm going to make that different. And I'm going to make it... Let's try... I don't know. Let's try this color. It's a little bit darker, but not much. And if I click save and continue, and now I preview, now it looks a little bit different. Okay? Now, so I'm going to close this. Now I have my portfolio the way I want it, except I want to do some modification now. Now, here's the thing. Each of these pages you're going to put artifacts on. So over here to the left, right here in the middle, you see personal artifacts right below portfolios. So I'm going to now click on that and I'm going to create a personal artifact. And this is going to be the first thing under intro. So I'm going to call it intro 1. Now, this is not going to show when we put it in there. This is a description. I typically don't put anything there. Now, here's my content. And I'm going to type Jamie Foster's Math 206 portfolio. And I'm going to hit enter. And I'm going to put a picture of me in here. So, notice that, let's scroll up here so we can see a little bit better. Picture icon is in the third row and there insert edit image. So I'm going to click on it. Now I'm going to find my picture by clicking on browse, and let's go down through here and see if I can find a picture on my desktop. No, that's a picture we made at a meeting. Let's see if surely I've got one somewhere. I know I do, actually. Let me see here. There it is. That'll work. Now, I'm going to click insert, and it's over here to the right. Yes, I don't care about a description of it. Now, notice, when on the right hand side, if I pull this down in the corner right here, then I'm able to type more and be able to see it all at once. Now I want to put all this in the center. So I just highlight it and then I go to the second row and see it says Align Center. And I click that over and there we go. Then I hit enter and I'm back over here and I can start typing. and fill out the information I need here. Okay, and then I can click submit. Okay, now all I've done is create that intro 1. Okay, now I'm not done yet. We've just finished doing some things in geometry. So I want to create another personal artifact about geometry, and I want to call it geometry number 1. So I'm going to go down here on content, about geometry, just so that we know that where it comes from. So geometry 1 says about geometry, and I'm going to click submit, and then I'm going to create another one as soon as that finishes. Okay, and I'm going to call it geometry 2. Alright, and I'm going to go down through here. And the reason I'm doing this is so that you can see that it's not the title that's showing, it's what's down here in the text. Okay, and let's say that I've got some kind of video that I want to put in there. Alright, so I'm going to add a mashup. Let's see, what is this? Math is power for you. I don't really care. Let's go back here. I need to know if I'm going to put a video in there. I actually need to know the URL, but it's not really that necessary that I do. Alright, so let's hit here on mashup and go to YouTube video. Okay, and let's look for, well, let's type something that I've done. SCC Jamie Foster. And click go. Okay, here's paper folded in the ruler. And then let's just select it and submit it. Okay, so now this is all the stuff in Geom 2. Now I'm going to submit. Now once I've got that finished, then I want to go back to my portfolio, and now I want to edit. So I'm going to click Jamie Foster's portfolio, and I'm going to edit. And then when I'm editing my portfolio and the things that are in it, it's always in the build. So I click on build. Now, I want to edit the intro because now I have a thing to put there. Now, I could create an artifact from here, but I don't need to. I've already got one. So I'm going to click the word browse. Now, what happens is this is going to show everything on your artifacts page, except we have to put the % sign there, or the ampersand. So put the % sign there and click go, and it will show you all the things that you have in your artifacts. Okay, now I had intro 1 is what I called it. So I'm going to click on intro 1 and click submit. Now, see, it's got it there. Now I'm going to click save and continue. Now, I need to go back to build, okay, but I had to save and continue to make that stay where it was at. Alright, now I've got geometry, so let's browse and get the Geom 1 and Geom 2 and put them in. Excuse me, so I click Shift % and go, and now I need geometry 1. Let's go ahead. Let's just put Geom 2 in. And now let's browse. And let's do the %. And let's put Geom 1 in now. And click submit. Now, notice they're not in the right order. So all I do, okay, let's click Save and Continue. Okay, then I go back to Build. Now, they're not in the right order. So what I've got to do is I have to edit this. Okay, so I click here on Geometry and I click Edit. Now I can move Geom 1 up. Okay, so now it's moved, and now we click Submit. See, if I hadn't clicked Submit, it would have stayed the way it is. So now I have a portfolio that has an Intro 1, a Geom 1, a Geom 2. Now let's take a look at it. So I'm going to click on My Portfolio and go into Jamie Foster's portfolio. Now notice I have my picture and the text that I typed. Now if you want it to be centered, you could have centered it just like we did the picture. Now this was our intro. Now to get to geometry, I click here, and here's the Geom 1, and then here's Geom 2. I can watch the video, paper folding in the ruler, and it should come up, and it is coming up down in the bottom, but we don't want to watch it. But you all can watch it, but that's how you get your video in. Now, I think that probably goes over everything that you need in order to do that, except one thing. How do you attach a document? So let's look real quick about creating an artifact that has a document to it. So I'm going to create another artifact, and I'm going to call it AAAAA. I don't care what it is really. Okay, and in this I'm going to attach a document. Here is a sample lesson plan that I really liked on probability. Okay, and click here for the lesson plan. Okay, and I'm going to highlight lesson plan, and then I'm going to create a link. So I go up here where it says Edit Insert Link. So now I'm going to go find that. If it's a URL, you could go to a URL and it would take you to the URL when you clicked on it. But I'm looking for a document. So I have something on my desktop that I'm going to do. Let's see. I have a probability activity somewhere on here. I have way too much stuff. Okay, I'm just going to attach this. This is good enough. I don't know what it is, but we'll attach it. Okay. Now I'm going to submit. And then I'm going to go back to my portfolios, and I have to put something else in here. And I clicked on it. Notice instead of editing it, so I'm going to edit, and in build the portfolio, I'm going to go in here where it says probability, and I'm going to create a new artifact, or not create a new one, but put in one in here, and it was AAA, I think, and click submit. Okay, then I'm going to save and continue. And now I'm going to take a look at my portfolio and see what it looks like. Okay, I still have this. I still have my geometry information. And now in probability, I have this, but I also have a link to a lesson plan that downloads, and then I click and open it up. Okay? Now, so I can add as much as I want to add here. I can highlight this and make it a different color. For example, back in my personal artifacts, I can go in here and I can edit. And when I'm inside there, I can highlight that lesson plan, and notice it was in yellow. So I could highlight it a little bit of a different color if I wanted it to. Let's say highlight is right here. It looks like a highlighter. I'm going to make that blue. So that's going to highlight the whole thing. It's not going to change the font color. The thing is, once you click on something in a hyperlink, it changes the font color anyway. So, but I don't want it to do that. What I wanted it to do was to change the highlight itself. So now if I click on Jamie Foster's portfolio and back in probability, see, I have that blue there that highlights that lesson plan for me to click on there. Okay? And then it actually does exactly what we want it to do. Now, I hope that this provided you with enough information so that now you'll be able to build your portfolio, create your pages, and create your artifacts. And if we have questions about it, I will try to go back in and do more video if I need to.